Tropical cyclone Odette intensifies into a typhoon ahead of its landfall. Now that the Omicron variant has made its way to our shores, what is the government's game plan? The annual tradition of Simbang Gabi or Misa de Gallo has started. And live audiences return to PBA games. Focused and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Charles Lejano. Starting today's newscast with up to tropical cyclone wind signal number 3, hoisted over parts of the country due to Typhoon Odette. Signal number 3 is currently raised over southern Leyte, the southern portion of Leyte, Bohol, the eastern portion of Cebu, and the Camotes Island. The Dinagat Islands-Surigao del Norte and the northern portions of Agusan del Norte and Surigao del Sur are also under signal number 3. Meanwhile, various parts of Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao are under signal number 2. The complete list is now flashed on your screen. Signal number 1 is hoisted over parts of southern Luzon as well as in Mindanao. The list of areas under signal number 1 can now be viewed on your screen. Typhoon Odette continues to intensify as it moves closer to the vicinity of Dinagat Islands and Surigao provinces. To tell us more about this, we have on the line June Galang live from the Pag-asa Weather Forecasting Center. June, good morning. Are we expecting Odette to become a super typhoon while still in the Philippine area of responsibility? June, can you hear us?
Yes. Good morning, Charles.
Right, good morning. Are we expecting Odette to intensify further while it's here in the Philippines?
Yes, we are expecting it to intensify further, and possibly this 11 a.m. issuance of Tropical Cyclone Bulletin, we will issue Tropical Cyclone Wind Signal number 4 because it's rapidly intensifying, but we are not expecting it to become a super typhoon.
Right, that is some good news. But are we expecting Typhoon Odette to make landfall over at Surigao anytime soon? And if so, when?
Yeah, this afternoon we are expecting Typhoon Odette to make landfall in the vicinity of Dinagat Island, Siargao, Bukas Grande Island, or in the northern portion of Surigao del Sur this afternoon. So be ready.
Right, June, are we expecting Typhoon Odette to start weakening as well at some point, maybe as soon as it hits the landmass?
Well, as it hits landmass, because of the interaction to the land area, it will weaken a little, but not significant. So it will continue to cross these Visayas areas as a typhoon category.
Right, we are looking at the track of Odette here on our screens. Are there any gale warnings currently in effect due to the typhoon?
Yeah, there's a lot of gale warning in effect, especially in the seaboards of northern Luzon, eastern seaboard of central Luzon, and the eastern seaboard of southern Luzon. And the rest areas are raised over tropical cyclone wind signal. So automatic sea travel is risky over those areas.
Right, June, one last question before we let you go. Until when are we expecting Typhoon Odette to remain in the PAR?
Yeah, it is forecast to leave the Philippine area of responsibility by the afternoon of December 18.
All right, thank you for those updates. That was Pag-asa weather forecaster June Galang. Some local governments in Visayas and Mindanao are bracing for the onslaught of Typhoon Odette. Residents are urged to evacuate as heavy rainfall and flooding are expected. Camille Samonte with the details.
Authorities have evacuated residents of Surigao and Agusan del Sur in preparation for Typhoon Odette's onslaught. Search and rescue teams and their equipment are already on standby. Areas by the river are also being monitored. Residents fear a repeat of the major flooding when Typhoon Vicky hit Agusan in 2020. Preemptive evacuation was also conducted in Surigao del Sur. The local government has also suspended work in government and private offices starting December 15 to 16 in anticipation of the typhoon. They warned residents to evacuate Caraga. DRMO for their part said the rescue team is all set if needed. Over in Cebu, Mayor Michael Rama said they are expecting heavy rainfall from Thursday to Friday. With this, Cebu LGU is monitoring about 100 sites for potential flooding and at least 50 sites in 11 barangays for landslide. Government activities such as cash distribution to senior citizens has been postponed, but vaccination will continue as long as the weather permits. As of now, they are still unsure if electricity and water will be knocked out, but he already reminded residents to prepare their emergency kits and make sure their mobile phones are fully charged. For News 5, Camille Samonte, We Are One News.
With the country's detection of the first Omicron cases, the DOH says it might take a full month before we feel the effect of the new variant in the country. JC Cosico with the big story.
It's confirmed. The Omicron variant has made its way to the country. The health department has detected 2 positive cases out of 48 samples sequenced. The first case is a 48-year-old returning Filipino from Japan. The patient already had coughs and colds upon arrival on December 1 via a Philippine Airlines flight. The sample was collected on December 5, which came out positive 2 days after. The second case is a 37-year-old Nigerian national who arrived on November 30 via an Oman Air flight from Nigeria. The sample was collected December 6 and tested positive the next day. Both patients are now asymptomatic and are isolated in Bureau of Quarantine facilities. The health department is now tracing possible close contacts of the 2 patients.
Dapat ay matukoy at pero kung di naman ako nagkakamali, lahat naman niya kasi ay tinest for RT-PCR. So malabang, baka negative ang karamihan dyan, kasi ito lang naman ang nasabat.
The DOH says it may take up to 4 weeks before the effect of Omicron could be felt in the country. But based on projections by the Octa Research Group, the entry of the Omicron variant might push cases to hit 800 per day, with 6 ICU cases daily. It might also push the production number in NCR to increase to 1.5 as early as January.
We can calibrate this accordingly. We could, add maybe heighten the alert level a little bit or decrease capacities. If it happens, we can adjust. But again, right now, based on the data, where a major surge in the NCR is not a big concern at this time.
Health officials, meanwhile, are now encouraging the public not to panic and to receive their COVID-19 jabs. In fact, they're now mulling to shorten the gap between the initial COVID-19 shots and the booster doses. The DOH says the vaccine expert panel is currently evaluating the proposal, and a decision may be out by next week.
It's only Pfizer we know that has come up with a report on the effectiveness of the booster when you advance it 3 months earlier.
The World Health Organization maintains that the vulnerable sector must remain a priority in the vaccination program. For News 5, JC Cosico, We Are One News.
Today is the first day of this year's Misa de Gallo or Simbang Gabi. Churches are seeing the return of more devotees after the traditional masses were muted last year due to stricter pandemic restrictions. To give us details, we now have Justine Punsalang joining us live from Manila. Good morning, Justine. Tell us what you're seeing.
Charles, around 900 people headed to Manila Cathedral this early morning to attend the first Misa de Gallo for this year. But this number, however, exceeded the capacity of the church. Before the pandemic, around 2,000 people can fit inside the Manila Cathedral all at once. But in order to maintain a safe distance between churchgoers, the administration of Manila Cathedral limited the number of people allowed inside to 380. In addition to that, they painted lantern-shaped social distancing markers in front of the church that can accommodate around 200 people. The church administration is also strict in implementing protocols before entry to the cathedral. Only fully vaccinated individuals can enter, so devotees have to bring with them their vaccination cards. Even while lining up, social distancing is strictly being implemented by the guards. Upon entry, churchgoers' temperatures will be taken or checked through a thermal scanner. They still have to undergo contact tracing either digitally via an app or manually by writing on forms. Today's Misa de Gallo was presided by Manila Archbishop Jose Cardinal Advincula, his first as the newly appointed Archbishop. Aside from the physical mass inside the church, two LED screens and speakers were also set up outside. The masses is also simulcasted in Manila Cathedral's Facebook and YouTube pages as well as on TV5. And as a bonus, there is a stall just at the exit doors of the church where classic delicacies like bibingka and puto bongbong are being sold. Those who attended the mass were happy to finally be attending Misa de Gallo physically this year. Senior citizen of Florida del Valle said that last year she attended Simbang Gabi virtually because of the pandemic. She said that she used to serve during masses, which is why one of her prayers is for the pandemic to be over so that she can return to her old weekly habit. OFW Rosito Estrada, on the other hand, was not able to attend last year's Simbang Gabi because he was overseas. His wife, however, made sure that she attended each of the 9 novena masses. Meanwhile, Jesus Balyari and his fellow youth friends made the pact of finishing the Simbang Gabi this year. He said that they will make sure that each of them will wake up on time so they can come to the church as a group. It is believed, Charles, that if one completes all 9 masses, one's prayers will be granted. And the common prayer among devotees is for the pandemic to be over and for good health and fortune in 2022. Charles, beside the early morning mass, there is also an anticipated Simbang Gabi, which will be held at 8 p.m. Starting last night, and it was also aired on the social media sites of the Manila Cathedral as well as on TV5. However, for those who really wanted to physically attend masses here at the Manila Cathedral, be prepared to attend it outside the church, as the crowd earlier today swelled so much that the crowd reached as far as in front of Palacio del Gobernador due to the big number of churchgoers. Charles?
Thanks for those updates, Justine, and do stay safe. That was Justine Punsalang reporting live from Manila. After 2 long years, the PBA is back in the Big Dome, and fans are also back to enjoying the games in person. A live band performance and a dance production from the PBA mascots marked the start of this new era for the league. Then came the doubleheader, and the first game, Magnolia blew out Terra Firma in convincing fashion, bagging a 114-87 win in the Pro League's first game back at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. Next up, NLEX held off TNT to stay unbeaten in the Governor's Cup. With import KJ McDaniels putting up 33 points and key buckets in the fourth quarter. The Road Warriors claimed the solo top spot with a 3-0 record. Later today, it's Meralco's turn to debut in the 2021 PBA Governor's Cup as they take on Blackwater Bossing at 3 p.m. And that will be followed by a standoff between the unbeaten Phoenix Fuel Masters and the Rain or Shine Elasto Painters. Here are the stories to watch out for later today. We are following the activities of presidential aspirants this Thursday, as Manila Mayor Isko Moreno will be in Antipolo, Rizal, while Vice President Leni Robredo will visit the OVP's Vaccine Express in Pasay. Bongbong Marcos, on the other hand, is scheduled to have a dialogue with multi-sectoral groups in his campaign headquarters. President Duterte is set to unveil the new train sets of MRT-7. And Miss Universe Philippines Beatrice Luigi Gomez is returning to the country after her top 5 finish in the Miss Universe competition. And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us later at 9 a.m. as we monitor the day's biggest stories from sunrise to sundown. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.